I'm Andy from Screen Printing on the Cheap, here with Adam Turman.
One of my favorite things about screen printing is that I can get my prints into not only one pair of hands, but multiple pairs of hands. I love that. I love the idea of being able to share my artwork with multiple people. The reason why I started getting into screen printing was because at my day job, I just found that I really was not doing as much hand-done illustration work, and that was kind of a bummer. So then what I did is I ended up meeting a collective called Squad 19. It was this whole kind of, you know, DIY thing about, you know, getting jobs and then ultimately screen printing posters for gigs, especially at First Avenue, 7th Street Entry, the Triple Rock, stuff like that in Minneapolis for different bands. I started getting into screen printing in 2003. So at the time what I did was I did some research online, I checked out what these guys were doing, and I basically just kind of built up my studio very small. Sure, yeah. Super small at the time. I mean, it was like I was printing on a 2-foot by 4-foot board, and then I would spray down, you know, adhesive on it. I had a couple Jiffy clamps, and then I had like a counterweight that was hooked up to like a bucket, you know, all this kind of stuff. It was really ghetto, but the thing was is that I got it to work, and that was pretty cool. Doing the whole thing, spraying out in my bathtub, you know, that's complete. It's still pink, and it's still gross. But you know, we try and clean it as best we can, and still using a lot of the same ideas that I had when I first set up. The exposure unit, for the most part, is pretty much the same. It's just, it's built with the same kind of materials and stuff from the hardware store. It's just a lot bigger. Okay, I'm gonna get off. Okay. You know, I'm still using 1/4-inch plate glass. I'm still using the veggie oil technique in order to burn my screens. It still works great. Another thing that's been the exact same piece of equipment that I've used has been my rack that I rack all my screens on, and it's a 2x2 footprint, and it's made with sheets of masonite, and I just stack all of my prints on that, and I can just keep on going. And what's great about it is it doesn't use up much of my studio space because it's so small. So I just keep on using it, man. It's like it's not broken. I may as well keep going. So, you know, a lot of the equipment is just bigger and better and faster, but same kind of stuff.
If we were nice, we could have marked it off for you so you know where to put the collar, but...
See, I'm bracing this. We don't have a kickstand, so I'm using my head here, my forehead. That's how we do.
That's how we go. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so I hit it again from you. Yeah.
I see that.
I like to hide things. Oh.
Whoa! That's perfect.
Oh!
You know, one of the biggest hurdles that I have when we print is basically figuring out problems on the fly. And a lot of times it's like, okay, we got a spot in the screen, like what the hell do we do now? Or that ink is totally wrong and we're on press and we have to just keep going. But one thing that I would tell people starting out is basically that every single time you do a run, you learn something new. And you know, it's just like, if you don't learn something new every time, you're doing it wrong.